Hey everybody! I got this beautiful oval tray from Molds and Shapes. Had my level here just to make sure it was good. So it's about 14 inches long and 9.5 inches wide. I'm going to try to do a bloom effect with the background and then take it out and put knobs on it. So today I'm using Lett's Resin Fast Cure, and it is super thick. Got lots of little micro bubbles, and I didn't know how much to mix because I don't even want to really fill it, but about halfway, if that, in this mold. So I've got other little round molds like this that are about, I don't know, 3 to 4 inches around. I've got another mold off to the side I'm going to use if I need it. I have mixed this and it's about 23 minutes into the mixing, but it's only 80 degrees. So I'm just going to I'm going to go ahead and separate out about 1.5 ounces or so for white. Let's just pour it in the mold. I feel like your blooms are more successful when they're thinner. So we're going to see how much this will hold for a thin layer. And I'll tell you how much I used once I finish pouring here. So that's about maybe halfway. Lots of micro bubbles, lots of bubbles. It says bubble free, but it's not bubble free because it's so thick. I'm using low temp heat tools so that it doesn't mess up this mold, because this mold was kind of expensive, but it's really super good quality. So I want to preserve that. I'm going to go ahead and mix the white. I'm going to use ocean white. I'm going to put 3 drops. There is a little warmth in the cup that I feel here, but this part was not very warm. So I use fast curing resin all the time. I use Counterculture Fast Set. It has a 10 to 15 minute working time, and then it gets tacky and it's hard by an hour, 2 at the most. So this is for a fast cure. This still works very differently than what I'm used to with the Fast Set from Counterculture. And this is Lett's Resin. I'm going to use a couple of Lett's Resin alcohol inks. Sugar Light, Yellow Green. This is almost like a red. All the bubbles are on the bottom, you can see them. They're not wanting to surface. And it's very thick. Not really scraping the bottom, I'm just trying to go around that surface area and get some of these bubbles to come to the top. My flame is on low on my torch. Be back. Okay, back for round 2. I put some little glass bits, gold and silver, around the edges. I mixed 12 ounces. Got about an ounce or so here. I'm going to make white. I'm just going to do 1 drop in here and see how that looks first. A little bit more. It's getting warm. This has been about 35 minutes. It's 115 degrees. This layer is resiners epoxy. I really like it. It has very little bubbles. Go ahead and pour this in, and I'm going to pour near the glass bits, and hopefully that kind of pushes it outwards. I'm not pouring on top of the glass bits because I don't want to push them anywhere. I think I have enough space to do a background layer. I'm going to use red pepper, Tim Holtz alcohol ink. Just fill in a few little areas there. Make sure those glass bits don't float in. They can go in a little bit, but not a lot. You don't want any out of place. Here's the center. Be back tomorrow to put the background layer on. Okay, it's the next day. It's hard. I had a few little floaters. I've mixed 6 ounces. It's very bubbly, but that will dissipate because it's going to be a really thin layer. I used Fast Set Floor, which I always use for my bottom coats or top coats if I want it to be cured in 2 hours, and I can move on to the next step. So this is Counterculture DIY Fast Set. 10 minutes working time, but it's only going to take us a few minutes to use it. So it's 6 ounces. I'm going to use a little bit of that first alcohol ink I used, the Sugar Light alcohol ink. I'm just going to give it a squirt of that. This is just red pigment dye from a random. Came with a box of epoxy that they give you a starter kit, like they give you some cups and a few different resin dyes and gloves and things like that. I just want to get that in there. And basically, that's almost a good color, but I do want to put a little shimmer in here. And I've got a pigment paste from Just Resin, Red Phoenix, and it's kind of a warm red, and it's got shimmer, and I really like that with what's going on. So I'm gonna use a little bit of this nice thick paste. I love Just Resin pastes. They're good colors. The shimmer is fantastic, and you only need a little bit. And you got to make sure when you're stirring your resin up with pigment paste that you scrape the end of the stick against the sides of your cup or up at the top, and really make sure that it's off your stick. So this is starting to warm. Again, you only have 10 minutes to work with it. Great. It is clear is great for top coats because you can control how you take it to the edges of your pieces. It's really fantastic. See how it's not moving very much? That's because it's super thick. I wasn't sure how much I'd need, but I think this is going to be just about right. We basically, I'm right near the edge of the rim of the mold from my second layer. I left just a little bit. So the key is for this to be the bottom of the mold. If it's domed a little bit, that's kind of ideal. So now I'm just going to help move it a little bit. Use my low temp heat tool. Ideally, if you don't want any spillage or spillover, you don't want to get too close to your edge. Then you can spray with alcohol, 91% alcohol, and that looks pretty perfect as far as how much I put in there. It's not going over the rim, but it's a little bit domed, just ever so slightly. Don't know what the bloom effect will look like on the other side, because when you're working with a tray or a long shape, it's going to all go towards the center, so it will distort your bloom sometimes and so forth. And then that first layer, I made the mistake of using fast cure, and I wouldn't do that again because of all the bubbles and just the way it reacts differently from normal, like more of a medium viscosity kind of resin. We're just going to give this a couple hours and then I'll be back. Okay, it's been about 2 hours. I have on some clean gloves. You always want to wear gloves after you've done the fast set, just to make sure you don't leave fingerprints and stuff. It's cured hard though. Now I might have a little bit of edges I can just go around, clean up if I need to with a little razor knife, but it's pretty good that I'll clean up some of those edges and get rid of that sharpness. So here we go. Okay, that one stretched out a bit much, but almost looks Christmassy, doesn't it? And the reason I did the gold bits, well, they're gold and silver, it's a mixture of gold and silver, is I'm going to put knobs at the end of each part of the oval, and so they have a gold base and then crystal, so I thought that would tie that together with the glass bits. So I now have mixed up maybe 3 ounces, 2 to 3 ounces. Again, this time the counterculture fast set, like I did the red, because it cures in 2 hours. But I do this because I don't have to tape off the bottom of my piece. I don't have to put masking fluid on it. I don't have to raise it up. I can just put this clear coat on, and I can control taking it to the edges with the silicone brush, and it will not fall over the edges because it's thick. It does have a lot of bubbles, you can see that, but by the time you spread it out, and I am going to use a low temp heat gun and warm it, which helps it make it a little easier to spread, but it's very thick, like syrup. Make sure your hands are clean to place your crystal knobs into the resin. I also placed my tray on parchment paper just to make sure there's a nice clean smooth surface on the bottom till this is fully cured. Now I'm going to push and just kind of twist and wiggle a little bit, and that helps you get a nice bond in the resin. I'm going to use my finger and just make sure nothing went over the edge, but I don't think it did. Now I'm going to use my flame, never on high, just kind of a low to medium. These are not crystal, they're probably acrylic, so they look like glass and crystal, but they're made from acrylic. So you don't want to put direct flame on them either, because it could possibly melt it or start a little fire. So again, just pressing and wiggling. The longer the resin sits, because it has a 10 to 15 minute working time, the more it will not move on you when you press those knobs. So I'm just going to keep doing it for the next few minutes, putting a little heat because the bubbles will rise, and you want to get rid of all those bubbles and have a nice crystal clear finish. Then I'm just going to check. I'm going to look around and make sure I don't see any dust or hair, which is very common in my studio. It always works well if you have some good lighting in your studio, your workspace, so that you can see if you missed any edges, see those hairs or dust. Alright, I'm not going to spray alcohol this time because sometimes it will leave a divot in your surface. On the back side it doesn't matter as much, and it really didn't leave anything, but I don't want to take the chance with this clear coat. I want it to look very much glass-like. And cover it, and I'll be back in a couple of hours. Okay, it's been a couple of hours, and here is the finished piece. I was thinking about doing a gold edge, but I think I'm going to leave it because then you can see the sparkles through the side of it as well. So I'm pretty pleased with it. So what do you think? If you enjoyed this video, I hope you learned something, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And please comment. I would love to know what you think, or suggest some colors or anything like that. So thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe. Love you all.